Our topic for today is word parts. It's a true fact that if you can learn the meanings of various word parts, you'll be able to unlock a whole new vocabulary for yourself. That's the reason why since day one, you've been doing a weekly word work assignment. The idea is that by becoming familiar with how words are put together, what some of the basic word parts are, along with their meanings, that you'll be able to unlock words without always having to run to a dictionary for assistance. So we'll go back and revisit the origins of the English language, and we'll remember that the words in the English language are mainly traceable back to Latin and Greek words. Other words that come to us from a variety of other languages, such as German, Spanish, and Italian, also have their influence from the early Latin and Greek words. So prefixes, roots, and suffixes, the parts that make up our words, come from all of those sources as well. So we know that English has over 1 million words in it, and it's growing every single day. In fact, it's estimated that technology is contributing 20,000 new words a year. 90% of English words with more than one syllable are Latin-based. So again, if we can familiarize ourselves with what some of those Latin-based words are, we'll have a really good basis on which to decode our language. Most of the remaining, or 10% of those words, are based on the Greeks. A single root word can help you to understand 5 to 20 related English words. So we have parallel Latin and Greek roots going for us. For instance, if we talk about water, in Latin it's expressed as aqua. Foot or feet have the Latin root of ped, and earth has the Latin root of terra. And let's compare those to the Greek roots. We have hydro for water, pod for foot or feet, and geo for earth. And probably without even asking yourself to do so, you've already thought of many different words that come from the Latin and Greek words that you're seeing right now. So what do you need to know about prefixes, roots, and suffixes? Well, it's conceived of as a building block system. So for instance, if we talk about mono, which has a prefix that means one, and it's combined with the root word gam, which means marriage, and then finished off with y, which means the condition of, we have monogamy, which means the condition of being married to one person. If we change the prefix to bi, we've got bigamy, a person who's married to two people. Poly means a person is married to multiple people. So if we change the suffix at the end of the word to ist, ist when added to the end of a word means a person who. So a monogamist is a person who practices marriage to one person. And a bigamist, a person who practices marriage to two people, as well as a polygamist who practices marriage to multiple people. So, what is a root word? Well, the main part of a word is its root. Many roots are complete words in and of themselves, and by adding a prefix to a root, we can change the meaning of the root word. So if we take the root word of happy and put an un in front of it, we change the meaning of it from being happy to unhappy. If we add a suffix to the root word, it does not necessarily change the meaning, but what it does do is to change the part of speech, as our previous example showed. There are some roots, or base words they're often called, that need a prefix or a suffix to make them complete words. An example of these root words that need prefixes and suffixes to be meaningful words are audio, bio, chrono, derma, geo, micro, psycho. And again, without putting in too much effort, In your head, you're probably thinking of right now all of the different prefixes and suffixes you can add to these base words or root words in order to make new words. So let's take a look at the base word viz or vid. This is a base word that doesn't have any meaning by itself, or it's not a word all by itself. But they're the root words that mean see. Can you think of some examples that use viz or vid? So a visionary sees ahead to how the project could unfold. A visor protects your eyes from the sun. The vivid colors were so bright we could see them from far away. Readers with a good imagination visualize the action or setting in a story. Because it was so foggy, visibility was very poor. It's so fun to watch YouTube videos of screaming goats, among other things. And the girl felt invisible as she started her first day at the new school. So with the combination of additional prefixes and suffixes, we can create a host of words that are dependent on either viz or vid as their base. Prefixes have a special role in word construction. The word pre means before, so a prefix is a word part that comes before the root word. A prefix can change the meaning of the root, and it usually does. For example, if you add the prefix ab, meaning not, to the root word normal, the resulting word is abnormal, which means not normal. Almost always, prefixes seem to change the meaning of the word. Another prefix that means not is a. If you add the prefix a to the word vocation, meaning a job or career, the resulting word avocation means a hobby, which is the opposite of a job. Most English prefixes are derived from Latin. There are about 25 of them to be exact. The 4 most frequent prefixes account for 97% of words that have a prefix that are printed in English today. Here they are, and you've already had some of these for your word work. This last grouping of 4 counts as 1 because they all tend to mean the same thing, which is not. Dis, re, and un comprise the other 3. And again, 97% of prefixes will be these letters. There's also a parallel that we can draw between Latin and Greek prefixes. So if we're looking for prefixes that mean against, around, many, over, or under and below, the Latin prefixes for those would be here, contra, contro, circa, or circum, multi, and then super, sur, or sub. Compare that to the Greek prefixes, anti, peri, poly, hyper, hypo. Now we're talking about suffixes. Suffixes are added at the end of a root word. The suffix does not change the meaning of the word. However, it does change the part of speech that the word plays in a sentence. So for instance, if you add the suffix ly to an adjective, it'll change the adjective to an adverb. So instead of being soft, softly becomes the adverb. Some common suffixes in their meanings are er at the end of the word, used to meaning two people or objects. Est, which means the best of 3 or more people or objects. Ment, which is a condition. Ness, which is a state of being. And again, all of these suffixes would be added to the end after the root word. And there's ous, which means full of. So, ology means the study of. Think of psychology. Psycho meaning a person, the psyche, and ology is the study of. Full at the end means full of. Less means without or lacking. And able and able mean that you can or are able to. So capable, incorrigible would be examples of words using suffixes. Here's another. Here's an example of root words being combined with a suffix. So we'll take the root word astro, which means stars, and then we'll add the suffix L-O-G-Y, logi, and it means the study of stars. If we take bio, bio means life, and we add the logi, so biology is the study of life. Now let's take a look at combining a prefix with the root word. If we take empathy, the M means having, pathy means feeling, so it's having feeling. The soldier had empathy for the prisoner. Enamor. En also means having, and amour means love, so enamor means having love. And a sample sentence for that, would mean the young man was enamored with his girlfriend. Sometimes we combine root words with root words. So we have pseudonym. Pseudo, we know from earlier discussions, means false, and nym is the root for name. So false name is actually composed of two root words combined together. Aqueduct. An aqueduct, aqua refers to water, and duct means to lead or to pull. So an aqueduct is used to pull water from one source to where we want it. And here we have all the parts working together. We have a prefix, a root, and a suffix. So we have retro, which means backwards. We have spect for the root word, which means look. And we have the suffix ive, meaning having the quality of. So the quality of looking backward is what retrospective means. History is a retrospective way of looking at life. If we take carnivore, carni is a prefix meaning meat, and vor means to eat. And e is one who. So carnivore is a person who eats meat. So you can rapidly increase your reading vocabulary simply by memorizing the meanings of prefixes, roots, and suffixes. And again, hopefully your word work that you've been doing so far and will continue to do in this course will help you to develop an awareness that each part of the word brings with it its meaning. By using this technique along with the context clues that we've studied, your reading vocabulary will grow tremendously. And I must say, there is no replacement for growing your vocabulary more important than simply reading. So let's take a little review. We have prefixes, roots, and suffixes, which can be combined to form new words. The prefix usually will change the meaning of the word. The root word is the basic part of the word, and the suffix is added at the end, and it changes the part of speech of the word. And I gave you another definition right here of each of those three items. And at this point, you're ready to move on to exercises 6 and 7, located on pages 87 and 89 in your textbook. And if you want any more information, I've included a pretty extensive list of references on the topic of linguistics and studying word parts. That concludes this portion of the message.